Hey guys, welcome back to the Gen D podcast. We're your hosts.
Tyler and Alyssa.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what topic is this?
Pets.
No.
Oh, this is
I mean, our main topic is pets.
this is our off-topic topic where we talk about things off topic.
Yeah. So me and Alyssa actually got to hang out a couple weeks ago. Last week. I was
Friday.
Friday. Was it Friday or was it?
It was
Friday because Georgia was off. That's right.
I took off.
Yeah. And she had to come hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we actually got to hang out. It was actually really nice.
Yeah, we went to brunch.
And I had some French toast.
You had waffles.
I had waffles.
You had waffles.
That were diced in cinnamon.
Bourbon it was like
and
bourbon
cinnamon
glaze.
Yeah. Oh, it was gross.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best.
I don't care for like bourbon food items.
It's so there was a steak at Fridays, you know, that restaurant like TGI Fridays. It used to be TGI, now it's just Fridays, which is lame. But they have a really good like bourbon like steak that I get from there. Oh, it's so good.
Well, maybe it's just good with like meat.
Yeah, and you don't really taste the bourbon. It's just kind of like it's just the flavor.
Yeah,
I guess.
I had like this avocado toast, which I loved, except for it had like pistachios on it. And I love pistachios, but I did not like it with the consistency of the toast. Like it was just not good for me.
It doesn't sound like it was good.
And then I think I got fruit with it.
Yeah, a lot of us seem to have had issues with that food.
Yeah, I think the other girl that was with us, she was the only one who had like
something
no problems.
That she liked. Yeah. Other than it was like too big for her to eat.
Yeah.
She was like, it's too big. So we had a little fun time, which is, you know, part of the reason we're not going to get into it right now because it's our off topic, but part of the reason why we decided our main topic. But yeah, I think it was the first time in a long time that me and Alyssa actually really got to hang out.
Yeah. Well, we also hung out on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We did hang out on
Instead of doing our podcast.
Yeah. We needed a little bit of a break. A little bit of a mental break.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we hung out with Destiny. I got to hang out with everybody. I was living my best life. I was so excited.
We walked on Main Street and like, you know, we went into like a bunch of local shops. There was this pet shop that I loved. It was so cute, and it had like, and there was a little lab there.
Oh, she was adorable. Yeah, so we got to walk around a little bit. I felt like for the first time in a long time, it was good because like I'm a stay-at-home dad now, so I don't get to hang out with a lot of people because everybody's like either working or they're busy during the week. And so like I get the kids on the bus and then I get them off. And then so it was kind of nice to get to hang out. I think that it's important to hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
I think that
and like now that the weather's finally acting, I mean now it's tornado weather right now. But last week it was pretty nice.
But you know, it's sad because like this week it's pretty warm, and then the rest of the week it's gonna get cold.
It's gonna be really, really rainy.
I'm just ready for warm
we're
weather.
actually supposed to hit record amounts of rain.
I'm tired of hitting record amounts of things. I know. Unless it's benefiting me. Like if we hit a record amount of views on our podcast, hell yeah, I'm down for that. That's something I want. But here lately, all these record views have just been.
Yeah,
I don't want to hit it.
Excuse me. Yeah, there was like a tornado watch on. There was a tornado watch on Sunday.
Yeah.
And last night.
Yep. Yeah, well,
the rains were crazy last night. Did you see it? It was like raining sideways.
I did. I didn't see it. I heard it.
Yeah.
Like we had windows open, which is odd because I never get hot.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have your windows open during a tornado.
Well, actually, did you know? I just found this out, but did you know that you're supposed to leave windows cracked during a storm? Because apparently the pressure inside your house can blow up your house.
That's crazy.
I just found that out.
There's no pressure in here.
None whatsoever.
There's no pressure.
But I was like, I never heard that before ever in my life.
Mhm.
Like that is something new that I heard. So I was like, oh no, that can't be true. That can't be true at all.
I don't think it is. I don't know. We need to fact check that
We need
because
to, yeah.
I don't really think that's true. I don't think that exists.
I'm looking. Oh, okay, I can look it up. I'm looking it up
because
I gotta see.
I feel like everybody has their clothes. Like I feel like it would be happening more often. Like we would have known about it.
I think that it's only like you don't have to leave your window all the way open. You just have to crack it. Okay, so we did fact check it, and it says no. It's a myth that cracking windows during a storm, like a hurricane or a tornado, helps equalize pressure and prevent damage. It's actually dangerous as it allows strong winds to enter, potentially causing more danger.
Yeah, I really
Damage.
Damage. I really feel like that was like a MythBuster thing.
Yeah.
Like they've probably had an episode about that.
I'm sure they
and they
did.
were like, myth.
Myth. Automatically, myth. No, I'm glad I kind of checked that because like well, it was funny because Chris said that and I was like, that can't be true. Then Mackenzie was like, yeah, we just learned about that in school.
No way.
And I was like, so
there's no way they're teaching
I
that
want
in
to
schools.
send this to the teacher and be like, yo, just so you know,
I googled
that's
it.
a myth. I googled, I looked it up. It is a myth. Like
it feels like a myth. Like it kind of sounds like something that could be true.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it would be happening a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I've been through a lot of storms in my
too.
life. You know what I mean?
Like,
especially living in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like we would have known something.
Yeah, we would have. It would have been like
it would have happened by now to one of us.
Yeah.
Like it would be like a nationwide thing where it's like open your window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pressure. They can't handle the pressure.
It can't. It's gonna blow up.
But that doesn't make any sense because this is a ventilized house.
Yeah.
So that can't happen.
Yeah. 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 Okay. We did debunk it. We did. So did. Oh, maybe we should do an episode on debunking.
Yeah, like myth.
Yeah.
Like a MythBuster.
Yeah.
Episode.
I would love that.
We're not a MythBuster. It's just Google.
It's just Google, so we'll have to Google it. But like that would be fun though.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I don't know. Are you
Excuse
okay?
me. Yeah.
She's over here dying.
I am. But it's okay. I just have a little tickle in my throat.
Yeah. I hate when I get those.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little bit of a
Yeah. They call it a tickle.
a tickle. It's not it is a tickle though.
It is, but it's not I just want to like reach into my esophagus and scratch it. You know what I mean? Like I just want to Kids, don't do that at home.
Don't do that at home. Have you ever like I have though, like if there's a little bit of a tickle, have you like rubbed the inside of your mouth? That sounds so wrong. That sounds so wrong.
I don't know because it's not like I can get like all the way back there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no point in sticking my finger.
I like kind of make this like I make this noise where I go
Yeah.
to try to get it to
Yeah.
like scratch like you're over there like
you're like scratching it from the inside.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
and
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
work. It never
really-
works.
It's better though.
Yeah.
Like it makes it a little bit better though.
Yeah. Or like it's to the point where you're like, okay, well, I have a little bit of an itch. Let me go get a drink. So I make that noise until you get a drink or you try to hold it in.
Yeah, or you just cough. But
Yeah. I don't know why I hate coughing, but
I do
too.
because it never stops.
It never stops. As
See?
we're getting dangerous.
See? Okay.
No, like so I do that so like it can tickle or itch it a little bit. Which
Yeah, and I have a smoothie with me today. I don't even have my water.
yeah.
So
And then you drink something to kind of get it to stop.
mhm.
It just but it's so bothersome.
It is. It's like one of those like minor inconveniences
Yeah,
that like ruin your day.
exactly.
Yeah.
It like
I love a minor inconvenience
I
on other people, not
yeah,
on me.
no, yeah. But like what?
Like okay, so like if someone like mildly irritates me, I'll wish a minor inconvenience upon them. So, for example, like, oh, I hope that your Tupperware gets stained with spaghetti. Or I hope that your hoodie snags on the doorknob on your way out of the
As
house.
you're walking,
And I hope that you stub your toe on the fucking corner of the bed, you jerk.
You jerk.
Like, I don't wish real harm upon them.
Yeah, well,
but it's like a minor inconvenience.
That's what I'm trying to teach my daughter. She has some aggressive, like she really does. Like she's always like, I really want, and I'm like, Mackenzie, I'm like, geez, girl. But like I'm trying to teach her that like it's one thing if you're like, I really wish that like they'll go broke,
yeah,
like something like that,
yeah.
And she goes, well, why would you just wish that when you can wish more? And I was like, because I don't want that karma.
Right.
Like, I don't need that in my life.
Literally.
Like, no. So I just wish that they get hurt. She's like, what about wishing people were dead? And I was like,
that's crazy.
I only wish one person was dead.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to get into details.
But yeah, like.
But I never actually wish people dead.
Yeah. That's like a little too far.
It's a little too far. And she's like, well, I just don't understand. She's like,
why would you wish something minor if you could wish something major?
I know. She's
like a tornado sweeps them away and they never come back.
She's like, what if? My kids, like,
oh my God.
I think Leo's going to be a little bit of a storm chaser or a meteorologist because he's so into tracking the storm. Like all last night, like that
would be a cool job.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you should be a storm chaser. Like Twister.
Yeah.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. I'm not.
What's the point? Like,
what is the point?
I don't know. Like, I guess to gather data, right?
Yeah.
But like, we have data. Like, we know we know
when they're coming.
Yeah.
When it's gonna happen.
Like a meteorologist, go for it. Knock yourself out.
Right.
A geologist, go for it. Play with those rocks.
But he seriously, like, he tracked the storm yesterday. He called me in the middle of the night, and I was like, "What?" And he's like,
"It's coming."
It's coming. He did. He was like, "It's coming," and I'm like, "I didn't get any warnings yet, kid. Like, we're fine." And he's like, "On my weather app," and I was like, "Okay."
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'll let you know if we need to go down to the basement.
When I was a kid, I used to we lived in, a trailer park, and the only reason I mention that is because everybody acted crazy there. But me and my sister used to run outside whenever it would storm, and we would play on the road and in the rain, barefoot and everything, and just run in the rain and shit.
I love
just acting crazy.
I love standing in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Calming.
I don't now because I'm an adult.
I don't play in it. I just go out and go.
I will. I don't want to get rained on, and I don't want to drive in the rain. But if I have a nice porch, with a nice top, like yours, your little walkway, that's totally fine. Where you could just sit out there and you could watch it all happen, but none of it's hitting you.
And you're just so peaceful.
It is. I mean, I like a storm. I really do.
Me too.
But I've even seen a tornado go right past me.
I have never seen that. I have never seen a tornado a day in my life.
Shit's crazy. Shit's crazy.
Because I really don't want to experience that.
Well, it was crazy because my dad, he took us from where we lived to his job the next town over. I mean, it was still the same county, but just the next town over. And because we lived in a trailer, so he thought it would be safer if with us being in a brick building versus a trailer. And but the funny thing is that he actually ended up taking us to the tornado instead of away from the tornado, because
not funny in a
because it completely bypassed where we live.
Yeah,
completely bypassed that town and went straight to the one we were in. So he took us from safety to not safe.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, we were still safe because we were in a brick building, but we literally watched it go past us and destroy everything. There was a McDonald's sign that it knocked down. There was one of my friends. We used to be really good friends in middle school. She lived in that town that I'm talking about, and her house was on the news because it was there's a newspaper clipping or whatever of her house because the entire front of it
was gone.
gone. Was gone
Ugh,
because of that tornado.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I got pranked once, and honestly, I was like, "How did I fall for this?" So my dad, he was driving. We were out, me and my brother, I think were home by ourselves because they were picking up my brothers, and we were during a tornado warning, and we went down to the basement. Well, it had passed. Like, not we didn't have an actual tornado, but the warning had passed.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad called and was like, "You guys need to get out of the basement. There's an underground tornado." And like we heard it, but it didn't register that that's what he was saying because we panicked.
Yeah.
Because he brought panic. So we ran upstairs, and then they were rolling, and then they were like, we were like, "What?" And they were like, "The underground tornado." And me and my brother looked at each other, and we were like, "Oh my God." Like, it clicked that that's what he actually said. There's no such thing as an underground tornado.
When my parents moved into the house that they live in now, it's like I've said this before, but it's a bi-level duplex. So an apartment on top of an apartment. And the bottom apartment is basically a basement. Like, it's half under the dirt, and the other half is like on the ground.
Yeah.
So you could like see outside and go out to the back and stuff. Anyways, now there's a laundry room in the house and on the bottom level, and right next to it is a cistern.
Huh?
A cistern?
What is that?
Okay, I don't know the actual definition, so I'm going to look it up, but it's a very scary room.
Oh, is it like a underground cellar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never heard it called that.
A cistern. Cistern. So it's not like that at all. It's just a room. It's just
a room?
I always thought it was spelled with an S. I keep typing in Sostern.
Like, my grandma has an underground cellar for like tornadoes. She has a storm cellar.
Yeah, so it's meant for, holding and storing water, I guess. But that's just what my parents call it. It's probably not like a real.
It's not a cellar for the storm.
No, so there's no like outside hatch that you go into a cellar. There's nothing like that. It's literally like, okay, so you go into the hallway, and then down the hallway and to the left there's a laundry room.
Yeah.
And then back behind the laundry room, through the laundry room, is this like little 4-poster wall room, and it's all like foil walls, if that makes sense. Like, it's instead of like there being drywall, it's like foil,
like installation,
but foil installation. And there's concrete ground, and it's just a completely dark room. There's no lighting, there's no outlets, there's no nothing. But that room is the safest part in the entire house for a tornado because it's completely enclosed.
Yep.
And like down in the basement also, it's like underground as well. So but when we first moved in there, so my bedroom was right next to that room, and I was always so scared of that room because of like how dark and pitch black and eerie it looks. And because it's a creepy room, and it was always like a little bit wet, which makes sense because a cistern is supposed to hold water, I guess. But it was always a little bit wet, so there's a little bit of mildew in there. And so I always called it the sinister room.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but like whenever my dad told me it was a cistern, I switched it in my head and was like, yeah, it looks like a sinister room. And my dad was like, it's not a sinister room, it's a cistern, but okay, I see where you're going with this. And so ever since then, I've called it the sinister room because it's a creepy ass motherfucking room. And I just but that's the creepiest place I've ever had to like hunker down in a tornado. It was like not even a tornado, but weather, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the tornado's never actually like flown past it, but creepy room.
I would prefer to be like in a neighborhood like this instead of like country land.
Why?
I've heard. Now it'd be another thing we have to fact check, but I heard that tornadoes are a lot stronger and a lot more powerful in a flat surface of a land.
Yeah.
And that when you're on a hill or you're in close like quarters, the tornado can't grasp as much.
So
it doesn't last as long.
I would say that could kind of make sense. I would want to fact check it, but my only thing is like the country, like quote unquote country, isn't flat land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's my only like qualm with that statement is that like country doesn't tend to be flat. Like you're up and down hills, you know. I mean, is it like more open spaces and less closed quarters? Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, like with closed spaces, you got to think like the debris.
Yeah.
You're getting way more debris. You're getting
hit.
Yeah. I mean, if you like I wouldn't even be upstairs, you know what I mean? Because like something could come flying down and hitting or going through windows and you know what I mean? If you take one step outside, you could get killed by a picket fence. You know, like you know what I mean?
1,000 Ways to Die.
Exactly. Did you ever see that show?
I did. Yeah.
Oh my god, shaped my whole childhood. Anyway. But yeah, like that's my only thing is like when you're in country it's a little bit different. Like
there's less
because there is less debris, but at the same time you're probably right where like the more space that it is to like accumulate,
the like stronger
it'll be. Yeah,
so that's why like neighborhoods get torn apart, like tore apart during stuff like that. We get like our winds like do a lot of damage, so like
but I mean the wind on top of debris is fucking crazy. Like and I just watched Desperate Housewives, and I literally just got to the tornado season. So so you know, this is fresh in this is heavy in my mind. I watched it last night while a tornado was happening. I was like, this is perfect.
Bless you, bless you, my child.
Bless I have sinned. I don't know how we ended up talking about tornadoes.
I don't know either. We were talking about the storm.
Go, Dorothy. Go.
So Dylan, I think I can say his name. I think he's okay with it. He's a friend of ours that watches the podcast. He was like, I'm no longer in Kansas, or he's like, I'm still in Kansas, so I'm not. I haven't gone to Munchkin Land. And I said, would that be such a bad thing, just to go to Munchkin Land for a little? Like,
what's Munchkin Land?
Seems so peaceful and cheerful.
What is Munchkin Land?
Have you ever watched The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Munchkin Land.
It's been a while.
So Dorothy, like, gets, like, during a tornado, she goes to, what's it called? Munchkin Land. So the Wizard of, like, Oz.
Right.
And she goes to Oz, but it's Munchkin Land that she winds up at.
Yeah.
At first. So she got there first. So she was no longer in Kansas. So the famous line of, we're no longer in Kansas, or I don't think I'm in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah. So Dylan was like, we're still in Kansas.
Yeah.
So then he was like, we're not in Munchkin Land.
Yeah.
So we're fine. Okay. We're good. So I was like, would that be such a bad thing, though, to go to Munchkin Land? Because Munchkin Land was like cheerful.
Do you okay, hold on. Hot take. The good witch Glenda, she was the villain the whole time. Because you're telling me you knew the entire way home the whole time and you made her do all this.
Yeah.
Just to get home.
Yeah. So I don't know if she's necessarily a villain. I would say she's like,
I could see her being the villain.
Like I would say villain in the sense of like she's doing it, but she's like the bridge between like the major bad person.
But she could literally have gotten Dorothy home from the get-go.
Yeah.
And she chose not to.
Yeah.
That's why I got beef with her.
Yeah.
But also, do you know all of the like the lore behind the like Wizard of Oz movie? Like how the snow was asbestos.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of people ended up dying on set.
Well, I heard somebody hung themselves on set. Yeah, like there was in the original like copy, you actually saw the body. That was the rumor for the longest time.
That's so
I don't know
scary.
If it's really 100% true or not. Like I have no idea, but that is
somebody needs to release that footage ASAP.
Definitely a theory. Which now obviously with the new stuff that's coming out with it, they took it out.
Yeah, obviously, so. but that movie was cursed. You can't tell me it wasn't.
Well, and then the the girl that played the evil witch, she caught on fire.
What?
Yeah, I mean, she was okay, but I think she had a couple burns, but when she was going down to the floor when the fire came out of the ground, apparently she got burnt on that part. Or caught on fire.
Yeah, that movie was just not safe. It was just
same movie. Not. It was just so, and then of course, costumes, filming and stuff like that. Now, obviously, these days, the costumes are still hot, but they have other methods now to help prevent extreme.
I don't know, because Jim Carrey literally went through it with The Grinch.
Yeah,
he went through it. He had to get CIA training just to be able to wear that costume to do it,
right?
Because of how melded it was to him, and was, the hours and hours.
See, that would be one of the reasons why I'm okay, I can kind of justify their pay, because they have to go through a process.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, hours to get it together, hours to take it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got to act in it and you can't even breathe.
Yeah. You got to act. And then you also you're in this.
How do you go to the bathroom?
Yeah. And then you film certain scenes, they may correspond in a day. So you got to take it off and then put it back on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's insane. That's insane. I do know that some movies, it kind of varies on what they're trying to do.
But that's why it took so long to make that movie.
Yeah, but isn't it weird that when you're actually watching a movie from beginning to end, that's not how they filmed it at all?
Yeah, they usually do it out of order.
Out of order. So there'll be a scene that you're why am I right here right now, instead of in the part that from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
So they do,
especially if they do a little flashback moment.
Yeah, you're all over the place when you're filming.
There are some actors who literally don't even understand the storylines because they're acting it out so out of order.
Order, yeah.
They're I have to watch it to know what's going on in my own show.
Which is what that's why they do the premiere.
But it just doesn't really make sense to me, because for me personally, I would be
beginning to end.
Yeah, I would have to I'm so OCD. I'd be okay, we have to start here. You guys need to know what's going on. You need to feel it.
But I think they also do it for certain reasons too.
They do, acting schedules and stuff like that.
And then also if something happens to the actor, they have certain things that they can put in and kind of fill it out.
Yeah, what was his name? He I think it's Paul or something.
Paul Rudd. No.
Paul Rudd. Ant-Man. No, the guy from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name.
I can't either for the life.
I know it's Paul something.
That's what I thought. Walker?
Walker. No, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. But his brother ended up filling in for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, with CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face was CGI.
Yeah, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool what happened to him, obviously. But it's really sad. But it's cool that his brother stepped up. They were this movie is important. You know.
Well, and he looks so much like his brother
that
he was able to kind of it.
Right. That'd be like the Hemsworth brothers playing each other.
Yeah.
I think they could low-key pull it off. They look enough alike where CGI could do the rest.
Right. Yeah.
So but we're gonna go ahead and get into our main topic. After this intro.
We'll be back. And we're back. As you guys can tell, we have a new little mascot in the studio. Alyssa, do you want to tell about him?
This is Teddy. He is a German Shepherd Shiba Inu mix. I think he's a Shiba Inu. It's Shiba Inu. I think he's a Shiba Inu mix, but I honestly don't know for sure because it's unclear.
Yeah.
But he's definitely German Shepherd. And he is my new foster baby.
Yes, and soon to be actual baby.
Yes. Hopefully we will get to adopt him at the end of the month. This is Teddy Berry, Berry. He is my favorite secret menu drink item at Big B.
Yes.
The coffee shop.
He is. But he is just the sweetest, gentlest.
He is. So you're going to see him roaming around here. He's going to be joining us in the studio.
Yep.
He's a good boy.
He's our new studio puppy.
I take him everywhere with me.
You do.
I really do.
Yes, you do. And she made him a Instagram.
I did. So follow up here for Teddy Berry's Instagram. Because he deserves it.
He does deserve it.
He's so cute.
Oh, he is so cute.
He's so sweet.
He is.
Yeah, we got him Friday. We went to the shelter. Me, Tyler, and Georgia.
Yes.
We went to the shelter, and I was told by Destiny to bring home a small dog, and instead I found the biggest dog I could find. And I brought him home.
Just so you know, our main topic is pets.
Yeah.
And due to the fact that Alyssa got Teddy on Friday, so we went. So she was looking at another puppy, and then we were talking about shelters.
Yeah.
And we went to the shelter, and he was the only pup that was not barking, that was not like
aggressively at the
cages. Like, he let you put your hands up in there and pet him.
He put his body up against the gate so you could pet him. It was so cute.
And Alyssa fought to get this dog.
I was like, please. He's good with cats. He's good with people. So far, he's good with kids.
Yeah.
His last owner had him for 10 months and then brought him back, which is just so sad. Apparently, he wasn't good with those kids, but like they had him for 10 months, so I think something had to have happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think like kids, like I guess just maybe, some kids they don't really understand.
They don't understand
how to treat
like
animals.
yeah.
And maybe he snapped back one day,
Yeah,
I really don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, George has been around him, he's fine.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't have kids myself, so like the less he's not around him a lot.
Yeah.
Like he probably was in his last home. But
he'll be here like throughout, so he'll get used to the interactions of the children.
Right.
But my kids tend to like understand because like
they're used to big dogs.
Yeah, they're used to big dogs, and like I've had a lot of dogs in my lifetime. So like which you'll get to hear about some of mine. But I had a lot of dogs in lifetime, so I kind of understand that like at the end of the day, like animals are, you got to treat them with respect, and they, they'll treat you with respect. So kids, like, they don't understand boundaries. So like the dog, like usually, typically, animals give warning before they attack.
Try to set boundaries.
They try to set the boundary, like, hey, like
I'm
this
not
is
cool
a little
with that.
bit, yeah, like I'm uncomfortable. Like, so they typically, that's what a growl is. So like, which I changed my tactics. Before I would tell them like, you better not growl, like do not growl. But it's good that they growl. You don't want them to not growl.
You don't want them to snap first.
Yeah, because and even then, because then dogs will generally warn you.
Yeah,
like, hey, like this is getting to be too much for me. Like you need to stop. So when they growl, that's their way of being like, yo, like I'm getting uncomfortable. You need to step back. And then they usually typically do another growl, and then after the third like time, they're like, okay, it's time. Like you're not listening.
To me. Like get off of me.
Yeah,
like
So I had to change my tactic of saying do not growl to just, hey, like both to the child or like the person that's like coming around the dog to be like, yo, like he's uncomfortable. I'm trying to warn you that he's uncomfortable. Also, I'm trying to tell him that he's okay. Like, don't do that. Like, we're fine,
Mhm.
we're good. So then you kind of back them off, like the person separate stuff like that. It's the same with
Yeah,
cats.
I mean, he's been good with the cats. He's been good with people. He's been good with other dogs. I took him to the park. I took him to the dog park, let him run around. He literally had a blast.
He looked like he
He
was having a
tore
blast.
or he wore himself out. Like he literally by the end of it, he was laying down. He was like, "I'm so tired." Like
Yeah.
he was like,
I'm done.
because he was just running around. I mean, he was out there for a good hour and a half, just running around,
Yeah.
like
He's enjoying
playing with other
himself.
dogs. You know, just living his best life.
In their dogs that like my dogs took time to kind of get to know each other. Like some dogs just are automatically good with other dogs. Our dogs, they take a minute.
Yeah.
They get used to it. Okay. So some dogs just are automatically good with other dogs. Other dogs are not.
Yeah.
So like you got to give them time to kind of get to know each other.
Yeah, and I think like with me bringing Teddy, first of all, Teddy was in a shelter, so he's used to the presence of other dogs.
Yeah.
And cats.
Yeah.
But I also think that like his old home, like, I think that he grew up around cats because he's just way too comfortable around them for to not be. But with other dogs, like I think he'll stand his ground if he has to, but he really doesn't want to.
Yeah. I think most animals are like that. So like Hagrid, like it was Waffles that was the problem when he came to the house, not Hagrid. Hagrid just wanted to play.
Yeah.
Hagrid, we're actually going to a trainer on Monday to see if we can get them like more trained than they are, kind of get them a certain, especially for Waffles, since he's still technically a puppy. So like we're wanting to get them trained, so we have more like we're able to start bringing them around other animals, other people, like without them being so like want to. So we think Waffles, when we got him, was a little bit abused.
Oh.
So like
I guess he was just a puppy.
Yeah, but when you put that trauma like for an animal, like it sticks.
I mean, he was
with
like
him.
What, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah. So I mean, he was. I know. I think he was like. Yeah. I mean, he was a few months. Like he was still like he was a puppy. He's a year old now because we got him like last Christmas, so he is a year old.
It was Christmas.
It was Christmas. It was last Christmas.
Not this past one, but the one before.
So now we're getting them trained, and so they can be around more animals. And like with yours, like I want them to be able to,
hang out, because especially since they are big, so they can match his energy.
Yeah.
But also, Hagrid is the most similar to him. Hagrid's a German Shepherd mix.
Yep.
Do you know what he's mixed with?
A husky. He's a German Shepherd husky mix.
Shit, maybe he's a German Shepherd. Like, I think he's a Shiba Inu, but like the husky could be
like a husky.
It's the tail.
It could be the tail.
Up.
I mean, like Hagrid doesn't look like.
But Shiba Inu does that too.
Because he's all black. Like Hagrid's all black.
Right.
So like he has like you can tell he looks like a husky and
he looks more like a German Shepherd to me.
Yeah, but
just
like,
an all black one. Yeah, he's got white, doesn't he?
On his chest. Yeah. So like.
He's about as big too as him.
Yeah, like, they're probably about the same size. If I'm not.
Teddy's 80 pounds.
Hagrid, he weighs.
He's gotta be. Hagrid's a big boy.
He's a big boy, but like so Waffles, like we think he was a little bit abused, so that's why he's a little hesitant with people. So like, but he doesn't snap.
Yeah.
But I guess Saint Bernards are very shy.
He is shy.
Dogs.
Yeah.
So like I didn't like there was a person that Chris was talking to that was talking about how she had several Saint Bernards and they're very timid, shy dogs. Which I didn't know that.
Me neither.
So that might be why they're he's always like when people are around because he hides. He doesn't get up on them. He hides. And then he'll let you know like but he never attacks.
Right.
So I think that's a good thing. He's just a little weary.
He's just a baby. Just cautious.
Yeah.
No, Teddy will go right up to a man or anybody and just
he's like pet me.
It's like, oh my God, pet me, please. Play with me.
Play with me. I just want to be petted.
He's a little intimidating when it comes to the playfulness because he's a very playful dog. He really doesn't mean any harm, but because of his size, like sometimes he could accidentally like knock you with his like, you know, mouth or something like that, like snout, whatever.
He seems like he just, when he gets excited, he gets excited.
He does, but he's such a good boy.
He is.
And he's pretty well trained. I mean, he doesn't go to the bathroom in the house unless he absolutely has to. Like, unless, like, it's like he's only had an accident one time.
Oh, that's good.
And it was because, like, it was my fault. I took a nap. I fell asleep. He hadn't been out in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was on me.
You know? That's my bad.
I mopped it up. I found it, cleaned it up, you know, whatever. But that was the only time. He whines if he has to go out, so I'll just take him out.
Does he? Yeah, he wants. You know, so he's a shelter dog, and his name was different when you got him.
His name was German Chocolate Cake. German. Yeah, see, he doesn't even like it.
Yeah. He's like, no, thank you.
Teddy boy. See, he knows Teddy.
So, and like, he learned his name really quickly.
He did. I mean, he still doesn't know it, like, when I call it to come to me, but, mostly it's just like the sound of my voice, I think, that like gets his attention.
Well, that's what's gonna, like, that's what helps him learn the name. So when he gets the name down, like, dogs are really good at changing names.
Yeah.
So once he gets the name down or accepting that that's the name, then he'll start to listen a lot better.
Yeah, and once I fully adopt him, I'm gonna like get him like some healthier but still treats, because right now I'm not trying to completely overload him with treats right now because I want to train him. Like, I really do want to train him, and he is like fairly trained. Sit is the only command he really knows, but he knows he's got it. He's good. But I want to train him, you know, like to come to me specifically and like stuff like that. Like, I want him, you know, to give paw and you know, like
Hagrid knows how to give paw.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I want him trained to like be able to do that stuff, and when I call him to come to me, you know. But I can't really do that without treats, and I'm not trying to overload him with treats,
right?
Because he is overweight, and like I'm fostering him, so I'm supposed to be like keeping him on a managed diet.
A managed diet. Yeah. Which I think he's...
Yeah, I guess he still needs to lose 20 pounds, but I don't think he's that bad.
I don't think he's that bad
Like,
either.
I think he's a good size.
Yeah.
If he lost 20 pounds, okay. If not, okay.
Yeah.
As long as he's not gaining a bunch of weight, like,
right.
It's not really...
He's like, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he looks great for his age.
Me too. And he's 3.
He's 3.
He's playing
He's so adorable. How many pets have you had in your lifetime?
Oh, goodness. Okay. So when I was about a year old, we got my very first beagle. Her name was Casey. She was my childhood dog. I had her for years. Absolutely love that dog. She was a puppy when we got her. And like I said, I was 1. So my whole life, I remember her like being around. And we also had 3 cats. Tobias, I remember him the least because he died first. And he was like the oldest. But I remember he like really loved my dad. Like, he was always like on his shoulders and stuff. And he was an orange tabby.
Aww.
Yeah, he was cute. And then we had Sadie, but we called her Sadie Lady. And she was a gray cat, and she kind of like long fur. Like, she was a gray, beautiful cat. Hated everybody.
Oh.
Hated everybody who wasn't my dad. Yeah, she was supposed to be my cat. She hated me. She would never let me near her. Oh my God. I loved her though. She was so pretty. Anyways, and then we had Kosher, who was another orange cat. And he was friendly, but he was my sister's.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't mine. He didn't want anything to do with me for real. You know, I was just a kid though, so I don't blame him.
Did you have cats that were yours?
Not until later. So my dad then ended up, okay, so all those cats died. Every single one of them.
Oh.
Katie or Kosher and Sadie, they died back to back, like the day after each other.
Oh.
Like, they were besties. Sadie died, and then the next day Kosher died.
Kosher was like, I can't live without Sadie.
Literally.
Like,
he was like, I gotta go. I'll see y'all later. My dad was like, take another day off of school. Let's go to the park.
We got him moored. Just got
Yeah,
him moored.
it was a nice memory.
Yeah.
We got to see snow for the first time in California because there was
Oh.
snow on the mountaintops,
Mhm.
and our cat had died. So, and I didn't really understand death yet. So my dad was like, "Let's take off of school," and he took us to go get like Mickey Mouse pancakes, and we went to the snow, and my grandma came down, and we all like got to play in the snow, and I experienced that for the first time. And then the next day we did the same thing because the other cat died.
Oh.
Like I said, yeah, he was like another one. So,
So sad.
loved him though.
They
And
had
then
a notebook ending.
yeah, and then pretty much right after that, my dad ended up, or if not before, a little bit before, my dad ended up getting a pit bull, and her name was Anya Jade, and Anya from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what he named her after, and she was gray with like white down her forehead and on her chest, and she was beautiful. But she was my sister's dog. Casey was mine. The beagle.
You mean cat? Oh, there was beagles. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
I
Casey.
thought we were still...
No, they're all dead. Okay, so we got Casey.
They're all dead. They're gone.
So we still have Casey and now Anya. And Anya was just so precious. I remember when she was a puppy. Oh my goodness, we got to like pick her up. I'm pretty sure I picked her out of the litter. I'm pretty sure I went, "That's the one right there," scooping you on up.
Why?
She was precious, loved her to death, but she hated Casey. Her and Casey did not get along at all. And it wasn't Casey's fault; it was Anya's.
Right?
That pit bull energy. She was very protective, and she didn't want any other animals like getting in her groove. You know what I mean? So we ended up we had her for a few years, and then I think we ended up getting rid of her because of her aggression. And because she got loose one day and but she like bit a neighbor's dog, and so there was like a whole "we're gonna shoot your dog" thing. It was traumatizing.
That would be traumatizing.
It was really traumatizing. So one day while my dad was at work, my sister called animal control on her own dog while my dad was at work, and she put me in my dad's room, and she was like, "I have a surprise for you." She didn't have a surprise for me. And she called animal control from the neighbor's phone and got them to come take Anya.
Oh.
So, yeah, and I was so sad. I was so heartbroken because I loved that dog. But we moved on, and we ended up getting Bo, who is still alive to this day. He is still keeping on. I think we got him in like 2011. Mm-hmm. He's up there in age. He's an old man. And he was so cute as a little puppy. He was my dog. I mean, Casey was my dog, don't get me wrong, but that dog was for me.
Yeah.
That dog was my dog. And him and Casey, so they were both beagles, so they loved each other. They were besties. They were two peas in a little beagle pod.
Oh.
And it was so sweet. And then eventually, when I was in middle school, we ended up getting a cat named Cooper, and he is still alive to this day. He's an old man.
Oh, old man.
And he's an orange cat. And when my dad found him, he was at the movies, and he went outside, and there was a dumpster. He was a dumpster cat, and his chin was hanging off. Someone had tried to slit his throat, and didn't get it all the way, and only got the chin. So we took him to the vet, and now he has a double chin because of the way it's healed. Now it's like a little
double chin.
Yeah, he's a really sweet cat.
I love that.
Super sweet. He loved to explore. He always got out any chance he could get. He would always come home, but he always got out. And now he's an old man at my parents' house. And then we didn't get any other animals until my dad or my mom ended up knowing someone who got who had a Yorkie, and her name is Holly. Aww. And she brought her home. She was already a couple years old. She'd been abused, but that dog hates me. To this day, she fucking hates me.
She doesn't like it.
She does not like me. She is my parents' dog. She wants nothing to do with me. Which is fine.
I guess.
And then when I was in high school, I really wanted a cat. So I've always wanted a black cat because of Sabrina.
Yeah, Sabrina,
you know,
Teenage Witch.
yeah, because of Salem, and I've always wanted a black cat named Salem. And so there was this one day I was like a junior or something. I think I was a junior, so 2018. And there was this little floof little kitten
Aww.
on my porch, and my dad was like, "Don't let that cat in." And I was like, "Okay." And so I opened the door and I coaxed the cat in.
Here it comes.
I was like, and I coaxed the cat in, and then I shut the door. So I kidnapped her. And I named her Salem, and I brought her to my dad, and I said, "Look, it's a little kitty." And he was like, "I don't want that cat in here. Look." And I like put her on him, and he was like, "Aw."
Aww, okay. I guess you could stay.
I guess.
So
I got my little Salem that day, and then the very next day, it's so funny how like cat things tend to happen to me in pairs. But the very next day, my dad came in my room and he was like, "Hey, so," and he was so disappointed already in what he was about to tell me. And he was like, "I went outside and I heard meowing, and I looked under your tire, and there was this little kitten that looks just like Salem yelling for its sister, just meowing, waiting for its sister." And I said, and he was like, "Now, you already brought this cat in to our house.
Yeah.
You can't kick it out now. Go get that other cat and bring it in here." He was like, "We can't separate the siblings."
Can't separate.
And I was like, "This is literally the best day of my life."
I can't help it. Like,
so I went out and I got her, and she is long haired compared to Salem, who is short haired. But she was also a black cat, way more white on her than Salem. And a little floof ball, just a little floof ball. and so I named her Bambino, and AKA baby.
Aww.
Well, Bambino means baby in Italian. And I actually named her, so I couldn't decide on the middle names, so I named her Bambino Salem, and Salem is Salem Bambino. I just gave them each other's like middle names.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I ended up moving out when I was 18. Fast forward, and I graduate and I move out when I'm 18. And when I move out, Destiny was like, "You can only have one pet." And I was like, "But I have two." But I have two. And so I chose Bambino. I kept Bambino because she was way more sweet and relaxed and timid and calm. And, I thought that would be best. And so Salem stayed with my parents, and my dad ended up finding a home for her.
Aww.
So she's good now. She has a nice little home. And I got to keep Bambino. Bambino is still with us to this day. And then we had Mosey last year. We got a little black cat who looks just like Salem, actually.
Oh.
We got her, and we got her from a work friend. You know her.
Yeah.
And she is very playful. She's very sweet.
She is very
She's
sweet.
the runt of the litter, so she's little. You know what I mean? She's so fucking cute. She's a menace to society. And we love her.
We love her.
And now we have Teddy. Although there was a point in time where when I first moved into Destiny's and with Bambino, a couple months later, she came home with a dog. And she was like, "This is your dog now." And I said, "Works for me." And, and
It's mine.
it was a beagle mixed with a big dog. Like, he had big paws, but he was a puppy. And his name was, we named him Remington. So his name is Remy. We named him Remington Day. And he was a little asshole. He was, we only had carpet on the stairs, and he would choose only the carpets to liquid shit all over the stairs, even if we had just taken him out. But to be fair, I think we were a bunch of 19-year-olds who were
I've been there.
busy with our lives and didn't really have time to properly train a dog. I know I didn't properly train him like I should have, you know what I mean? Like I was too busy with work or whatever I was doing at 19. And so I really just like he ended up going to a really good home with other dogs in a yard, and he could play, and like um he was a family he used to be a work friend, and I got pictures, like updated pictures throughout his life, so he's doing good, he's happy, he's healthy, yeah.
That's good.
We knew we couldn't take care of him because we weren't taking care of him the way that he deserved.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
so you'll hear the story in a minute.
Yeah, so it was just more of the it's better for him if we do,
Right.
But those are it, and now we have Teddy.
So have you ever had hamsters?
No, they're evil.
So my first pet was like hamsters and fish.
Mm-hmm.
So like now finding out, I feel like I may have murdered a few hamsters. Not intentionally, obviously. But my dad went through a lot of animals. We had like dogs every other like day.
Really?
And then there's gonna be a lot. So my bio dad, I should say. But we had hamsters over at my mom's and my bio dad's. So because we went every other week to his house and then to hers.
Mm-hmm.
So we had hamsters, and my mom let us keep our hamsters because we lived at my grandpa's at the time, so we stayed in our bedroom. She let us have our hamsters, and they survived for quite a while until she met my dad, like my stepdad. Until she met him, they lived for a good while, but then they wind up passing away. So we think they weren't moving at all. But apparently, there's that that thing where you find out that they actually may not be dead. They just may be hibernating. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
What?
Yeah.
So you buried them alive?
I guess a lot of people have done it. Because apparently there's this thing where hamsters, you think they're dead and they're not responding, but they're hibernating.
You would think that's common knowledge, though.
But not. I guess not. Not until here recently. But we had them, but I think they actually legitimately died. I think one of them got actually pregnant and it died during childbirth.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, like the baby and the mother, because there was like a baby coming out of it.
No. That's
and it just wasn't
gruesome image.
Yeah, it was very. We obviously buried it, but we had hamsters over at my mom's, and then at my dad's we had hamsters, and we only had them for a couple of weeks, and he threw them into the woods.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just released them.
Why?
Because my dad has this thing that we would never take care of these animals, or we didn't play enough with these animals. Like, what? And we were always like playing with them, petting them. Like, we loved having animals. And he just thought it was too much and threw them in the woods. We lived in an apartment building. We lived all the way up on the top floor.
Yeah.
So he went down to the back of the woods of the apartment complex and let them out.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
You could sell them on Facebook Marketplace.
Right. So, and we came, we were at my mom's, and then we came back and we were like, where's our hamsters? He's like, they're in the woods. Like, what? Really? Like, you just let them go. There they go. What?
That's so fucked up.
So then we had, we had hamsters, and then as we got older, we did have, which, I mean, we were little kids. We didn't really do much, and there were 6 of us living in a house. Mm-hmm. But we got 2 dogs. We lived in an apartment at the time. We got 1 dog. His name was Midnight, and I think he was a German Shepherd. He was pretty. He was so pretty. But he was a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at my mom's. And then we got Shadow. Shadow was so ditzy. It was so funny. He was a pure black dog. Like, beautiful. Like, he had no, white on him. I don't think he had any white on him whatsoever. He was beautiful. And one day I was out I have 2 stories about these dogs. So I was taking out Shadow one time, and have you ever seen the dog where they run to try to go back inside?
Yeah.
And they smack themselves on the door. Shadow did that, and I was like, he just like took off running.
Yeah.
Like he was on the leash, and he took off running, and he like smacked into the window, and I was like, dude.
Is he okay?
Funny. He was okay.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of shocked him for a minute because he was like, "What the fuck?" But no, but like it was.
Doth my eyes deceive me?
So, and then we got Shadow, and Shadow, or we had Midnight. Midnight, I was out walking Midnight one night, and he got a hold of bubble gum.
In his fur?
No, like he was chewing it, like a person would chew gum.
He was like, I know what to do.
Yeah, he's like, so I was like sitting there walking him, and all I heard was, and I was like, what? And I was like, no, you can't eat that. So I tried to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he took that opportunity of me trying to pry his mouth open to get this gum out to run. He took off. He got off, like, he didn't get off leash. So I was running around this whole yard. So I get him, and I was like, got him. So then I managed to get the gum out. Well, I threw it, and he went after it. Got it, and then took off again. So I was like, oh my God. So I was running around like the neighborhood because I'm like, oh my God, our dog is free. And we lived in an apartment complex. So like we had no fence whatsoever. So we were just like, like you just see me like darting. I finally get the gum out of his mouth. And then I'm like, okay, we got to go inside. So I went inside and I'm like, so I go in and I'm huffing. And my mom's like, what's up? I was like, well, your dog got a hold of the gum. And I was like, so like he was chewing it. And then when I was trying to get it out of his mouth, he got off. He like took off. And I was like, so he managed to get out of my grasp like twice.
Wow.
Jeez, but I was probably about Leo's age.
Yeah.
If I can't say like, yeah, I think it was Leo's age. So we got them, and then when we moved into our house, we had them for a little while longer, and then we weren't really taking care of them, and they were tearing up our backyard. So we wound up getting rid of them, and then we got a dog named Samantha, which is my sister's name, but we got it from a family friend of ours, and she was good, but she wasn't good with children at all. So she was fine with us, like older children, but then my mom was pregnant with my sister, and when she had my sister, she tried to go after my sister, so we got rid of her because of that reason.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have a dog for a while, and then my mom got surprised with her dog. It was her dog. That was her golden retriever.
Oh,
Such a good boy. He was so good. He was so sweet, and he just loved until the very end. He was so sweet. So my dad got my mom the dog, and he went and picked her up from work. My mom didn't know about it. And then Buddy scared her. So we named him Buddy.
Yeah.
Or she named him Buddy. And that was her dog. Like her and him were like attached at the hip. Like so we had Buddy. So that was my mom's dog. So we got him, and he was just really well trained off the bat. Like,
okay, was he a puppy?
Yeah, he was a puppy. He was so good. But golden retrievers are like known to be like really good family animals.
Mm-hmm.
So like he did really well with Christina, and so like he was just good to have around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Coco, which like one of my brothers got Coco. And my mom was cleaning the house one day because she didn't want any more dogs. Like she was good with Buddy, that's all she wanted. And my mom was cleaning, and my brother had hid this puppy in his room for like the longest time.
The longest?
For the longest, it was like for a good couple weeks. I think.
How?
I don't know. I have no idea. So he hid it. Well, my dad was like, we have to tell my mom about it. So I was sitting on the couch and my mom was like cleaning and he's like slowly walking this dog out and he's like hiding it behind his back. And he was like, honey, I have something I have to tell you. And she's like, we better not have another animal in this house. And my dad's face went, he's like, we do have another animal. Wow. It was Coco. So
what kind of dog was Coco?
I don't know. I have no idea what kind she is. She isn't a mutt. I know she's a breed of a certain kind of dog, but I don't remember the name of it. So she was a puppy, and now she's about like we got her around the same like Buddy, and then now like her. So Buddy and her kind of like now the same age now that they were when Buddy passed. But Buddy did pass, unfortunately. No. Yeah, Buddy passed away about a couple years ago.
No.
He died at home. He did. He died at home. My mom knew it was time, and she laid with him until he took his last breath.
That is so sad.
He took his last breath. My mom laid with him. It was so.
Stop.
It was very sad. It was a very sad day. But he needed to. My mom couldn't let him go.
Yeah.
Because like he had his skull was in collapse too, like a little bit.
What?
Like he was old. Like he was very old. He actually, I think, outlived his years as a golden retriever. So, like my mom saw that it was time, and she knew that it was time, but he died at home.
Yeah.
So my mom just kind of laid with him until he took his last breath. He's now buried in the backyard. He has a little memorial for him. He was so sweet. So now Coco's like getting up there in age. Yeah. She's like gray. She's getting a little more cranky now as she gets older. But Coco, I was in the hospital one time and I hadn't been home in a while. And I came home and Coco like hugged me. Like she stayed with me for like, it was like a good hour before she like let me up. Like she stayed with me for a whole hour after I got home. She missed me so much. She hugged me and she was like giving me love. But yeah, so we had her and then we had bunny rabbits. Have you ever had bunnies? I had a couple of bunnies. They're Reese and something else. I can't remember. I think Reese Cup and something else. I don't remember. And so we had them, but I hated them. I could not stand because they were a lot. Like they're constantly cleaning up. We got little leashes for them so we can take them outside to walk them like dogs.
Yeah.
But they weren't very friendly rabbits either. Like they would bite you every time you try to like pet them.
Aww.
So I'm like, these rabbits aren't very friendly and
they don't want to be here.
They don't want to be here. So we gave them. My grandpa took care of them for a while. He put them out back in a little enclosure. And had them out there until they were alive for a good couple years, and then they passed away. It was so sad. So my grandpa buried them out in the back.
Losing a pet sucks.
And then on my bio dad's side, we had a dog named, I think his name was Baxter. He was a boxer. My dad couldn't stand how much energy he had, so we wound up getting rid of him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then we had a dog named Rascal. He was a beagle. He was a pretty beagle. He was like white with like brown spots.
Those are chocolate beagles. That's what Bo is. Yeah.
Beautiful.
They're called chocolate beagles because they have dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate on them. Their pattern.
Yeah. And he was so funny. Like he was so cute. And I loved playing with them. For some reason, my dad couldn't. We went to my mom's, and the next week we came back. He was gone.
Oh my god!
He knew how to break out of his crate. So
that's because beagles are smart.
So one day he broke out of his crate, and he somehow broke out. We didn't notice at first. He broke out, and then you just see his little butt turn into our bedroom. So we had to like get him out. Because he hadn't gone out potty yet. Yeah. We just got home. And so somehow he broke out. We just saw his little butt.
Yeah, Casey, beagles are so smart. Casey literally learned how to open the fridge and she then taught Bo how to do it.
Yeah. I love that dogs can be so smart.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're there.
So she would constantly get into the fridge.
That's funny. I bet she had some field days there.
She did. She sure did.
But then we had a dog named Angel. He was an outside dog. She was an outside dog. Her name was Angel. She was a big, big dog. She was very loving. I think we got her from my aunts because my aunt couldn't keep her in the apartment that she was in, so we got her that way. But my dad didn't want her inside, so she was an outside dog. We had another outside dog when I was a little bit younger. My mom's boyfriend did. His name was he was a husky, and I can't remember his name. But kids, when they lived in the which he was an outside dog. And I hate outside dogs. I really don't
I
like
want
that
them inside.
Yeah, I want them inside. So he was an outside dog. He was an outside dog the whole time I knew him. Like for how long my mom and her ex were together. And because it was my mom's boyfriend's dog. So they lived in a a trailer home. And it wasn't a nice trailer home. It was like a dingy, like backwoods trailer home.
I've lived in a couple of those.
Yeah. So neighborhood kids got a hold of him and shoved a stick down his throat.
Stop.
He lived. But it destroyed his vocal cords. So he had this weird, like, bark, and it wasn't a normal bark. And it sounded really raspy, and it was barely even a bark. He had it enough to bark, but yeah, some kids got a hold of him.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck those kids.
Fuck them kids. So he still saying, but when we moved to another trailer home, little complex, but it was like a nicer end trailer home place. Like there was hardly anybody out. More like there was like maybe 4 homes within this whole trailer park. Yeah. So it wasn't like it was a neighborhood instead of a trailer park. And he stayed out in the back there. We would always go. He would get some great meals. And I don't know. I think he's gone now. I mean, he was older, but by that time, so he got some great meals. When we didn't want to eat our food, we would just walk out to the back and pour it in his bowl. That's what he would eat. He got some. He was like the scrap dog. Yeah. Like, my mom would always go, just go feed it to the dog if you don't want it, because she's like, I'm not gonna force you to eat. Right. So then when I got older, that's when I got my first cats. So I had 2 cats, Angel and Buffy. Aww. Yeah, Angel and Buffy. Yeah. Aww. So Angel was a Siamese cat. He was my first Siamese cat. And then Buffy was just a mutt of a cat. I don't know what breed she was, but she was a black and white cat.
Those are tuxedos.
Yeah. She was so cute, so pretty.
Aww.
But my ex didn't want them anymore because he put the cat box thing on wrong. So the cats would pee and poop around the bedroom because we lived with a roommate at the time. So we had a house, but we lived in the basement, and our roommate lived at above of us. So we kept them in our room for most of the time. And so because the cat box got blocked, they started pooping underneath our bed. Like they would get up in the bed. So we had the smell like going around, and I thought it was the litter box. We would constantly clean the litter box, and we were like, but there's like hardly anything in there. Yeah. So he got tired of having these cats, and we got rid of them. And come to find out later on, it was because he put it in wrong. So the cats couldn't get in or out of the cat box. Yeah. So they would get trapped in the cat box. So they decided not to go in there anymore. Right. Because they would get trapped in it. So I was very upset about that because I loved my Siamese. I always wanted a Siamese cat. Yeah. Loved my Siamese. Well, later on, I was like, well, okay, so you don't want other cats right now, like whatever. So we got a ferret. We had a ferret, and oh no, we got the ferret later on. We got a dog. He wanted to try to get a dog. He didn't want to keep it either. It was too much for him. It was a puppy, and we were trying to train it, and he was like, "This is just too much. We're not home enough." And I was like, "We are home plenty." I'm like, "The dog will be fine if we train it." He just didn't have the patience for it, so we got rid of it. We gave it to the same people we gave our cat to. So I'm like, so we're getting all these animals for no reason,
Right.
none whatsoever, no reasons. Well, then I went through a phase where I was like, I want to get a ferret. I always wanted. They were so cute. I saw a video on it. I was like, I want to get one. So we got it. His name was Roscoe.
Oh,
Love that thing. Always played with him. Always. But my ex did not like it, and he got rid of it. And I was like, you're getting rid of all my animals.
yeah.
He was like, well, the ferret needs a good home, and we can't afford to get another one. And I'm like, they're not expensive, and we can afford it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. But he was like, I just don't want it. I don't like it. And I was like, whatever. So then we went a while without getting a pet. Oh my God, my stories are so depressing.
Yeah.
They're a little depressing. Oh my God.
Yeah, so we got this and then we got rid of it.
Yeah, we got this and got rid of it. Then I got my cat, Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
That was my cat.
Mm-hmm.
That was my buddy. That was my little monkey. I called him Little Monkey because he would run with his little tail and it would stick up. I had him until he passed. But stand up. Well, so he was a Siamese cat. My ex got him for me for a surprise. And I was like, can we not get rid of this one? Like, can we please like let me have my animal, please? So we got Caesar. When I got Caesar, we wound up breaking up like a couple years later, and then I kept like Caesar came with me because he was my cat. Like I was like, I just want the cat. That's it. You can keep everything else. I just want the stuff I came with and my cat. That's all. That's all I want. So I had Caesar until he passed away, and then that was a very sad day for me. So there for a while I couldn't get other cats, and then um, so every time I got a cat, I couldn't bond right away until like the cats that we have now. But I couldn't bond right away because like Caesar was just my cat.
Yeah.
Like, I was devastated when I lost him.
Yeah.
So we got a cat, but we found her, and she was in heat. And we got another cat. We found another cat. His name was we named him Umbreon. He was a black cat. He was a Pokemon. It fit him so well. Aww. But he was a kitten, and he was very sick. And we went up. We had vacation planned out. We already booked stuff, so he had to stay at the vet. And while he was at the vet, he wound up passing away. He didn't survive his injuries.
Oh my God.
So after that, I was just like, I don't want another cat, like ever. I don't know if I want another cat ever. So it took me a while. And then eventually we got Espresso, and then we got Coco, and then we have like 2 dogs. But like Chris had Hagrid for the longest time, and we legitimately moved a house for Hagrid because Chris couldn't give him up. When we lived in West Virginia. Well, when he lived in West Virginia, we had the dogs there. I had 2 dogs, Danger and Dodger, and they're with my ex later on, not the same ex that I had with the other animals, but they're with him now because like I started getting children, and it was just a lot to have 3 children and three dogs.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a lot. It was too much. And my 2 dogs didn't get along with Hagrid, and I couldn't tell Chris to give up his dog. Like I couldn't do it. And then Chris had another dog. We called him an old man. His name is Gage. He was just so sweet. He was a good puppy, but he had back issues, so he couldn't walk on his back paws like eventually. So you know that dog on Family Guy, he would just drag himself. It was so funny. Like he was beefy up here, but really tiny down there. He wound up having to get put down. But we had him. We called him the old man, and he had to stay in our bathroom because he like lost control over his bowels.
Yeah.
And so he stayed in our bathroom, and our bathroom had these like tile floor, so like it was pretty easy to clean up. And I forgot that people didn't register that it might be a dog that stayed in the bathroom. But we said our old man is in the bathroom, and people would give us the strangest look, like what? Like old man in the bathroom. We're like our dog, like he's old and lost control of his bowels, so we had to explain that. But he was so cute. That was Chris's dog too. But Dana and Dodger, they went with my ex, and I get to see them like as much as I want because they live underneath my grandma.
Yeah.
So I can see them anytime, and they remember me every single time they see me. So like, I miss them. I wish they were with me, but like it was best. And then I had a dog named Oliver when I was younger, but like you said, like that one dog, like I was young and I just wasn't capable.
Yeah.
It was my dog. My mom refused to take care of him unless like I was at school or at work. But other than that, like it was my dog. So I just was too young and too naive.
Yeah.
So I gave him to a farm owner, and he lived the rest of his days out there.
Aww.
Like he legit, not one of those parents like telling
I
you
took him to the farm.
Took him to the
yeah.
farm. No, he legitimately went to a farm. Like,
yeah.
My dad knew the guy, and like they went with him. So and it was for the best. Like
yeah.
he was a Shih Tzu, and just his name was Oliver. He was so cute. He was so smart too. So there was one time I always sleep with a fan at night.
Yeah.
So like my dog hated it. He hated it. So the fan kept somehow getting unplugged. And I just was like very confused. I was like, I would wake up if the fan went off, I was awake. I was up. I was ready. I was ready to go. So I went over and I always plugged it in. Well, it kept getting unplugged. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? So I got up, I plugged it in, and I laid back down, and I like pretended to close my eyes. Oliver walked, looked at me, looked at the cord, looked at me, and to make sure I was still sleeping, walked over to the cord and unplugged it. Straight up, like bit down on it and unplugged it and dropped it and walked away. That little fucker was turning off my fan.
Smart.
I was like,
so
what?
smart.
So he was super smart, but he deserved a better home.
Yeah.
I was too naive to be taking care of it. So I just was like, you know what? Like let's let him go. Like I need to let him go. And then of course I didn't get animals until I was older. And now we have Waffles, Hagrid, Coco, and Espresso.
Yeah.
Espresso has one eye, but you know, I love that cat.
It barely has one eye.
Barely has one eye. He's got some cataracts going on. And then Coco, like we rescued her from outside in West Virginia. We got both our cats in West Virginia. But we rescued her from outside. She was just a little itty bitty thing. And I think she was probably the runt of the litter.
Oh, because she's small.
Yeah,
she's like tiny. Mosey.
Yeah. So we brought her in, and she's been with us ever since. So we had all our animals, and then Waffles, of course. You know, I got it past. I always wanted a dog. That was a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Waffles.
Yeah.
And now I got him. Now he's just a pain in the butt. God love him. I love animals.
He's so sweet.
He is so sweet. This has been a wholesome, weird little episode.
Yeah.
So you've never had any like?
I've had a couple lizards.
Oh yeah, I was not allowed to have lizards.
Like Destiny, she mainly took care of them because she knows what to do with lizards, and I'm a little bit of like I'm skeevish like when it comes to like because you have to feed them crickets and stuff, and I have a bug phobia, so it's a no for me.
Yeah.
And lizards in general kind of freak me out a little bit, but because reptiles. But I had an albino one. His name was Garcia. We would call him Garcia. He's a little gecko. He was so cute. He would just like fit the palm of my hand and just run across me and stuff. He would like sit in my pocket sometimes.
Just chill there.
Yeah.
So my our ex landlords, when we lived in the house over in Erlanger, they had a bunch of lizards and snakes and stuff like throughout their house. And so they moved to he moved to a farm. Like he has like a whole out back proper place for like all his lizards and stuff, and he has a bunch of dogs. Yeah, so one of his lizards got out and they could never find it. So Leo, his room was down in the basement, and because we put like a little nook down there, one day he come charging upstairs. I mean, charging upstairs, and he's like, "There's some like creature down there," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's like underneath the stairs, because like there was like a little like cut off of the stairs down that led down into the basement."
Yeah.
And he's like, "There's some creature down there." And I was like, "No, there's not." And he's like, "Yeah, like there's legitimately a creature." So I went down into the basement, and he's like, "It's right underneath the stair." So I like stretched my legs out because I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Right.
It could be harmful. And and it grew a long little talent. Like, it looked like a raptor. It did. It looked straight up like a raptor. And like its long little talent like was hooked over the edge. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
That is a creature.
Yeah, it is a creature. So he's not lying. Like, what the fuck? So so I'm like creeping, trying to see what it is. And then I remembered that my friend, our landlord, was like, one of our lizards got out. And he's like, but I'm pretty sure it's probably dead by now. No. That thing is, I don't know if it's still living in the area from where it is, because we moved out, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, I was like, your lizard is still in the basement. So if you ever go back, you might find it. But I think it wound up passing away eventually.
See, Destiny had a gecko that she like lost in the house that we were living in, and it was a house a lot like this one. And she ended up she was like, "Oh, he's dead. He's gone."
Yeah.
And she ended up finding him like months later.
Still alive?
Yeah. Kicking it.
Well, he probably fed off the bugs of the house.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that like if they get hungry, they'll find what they need.
He was in our room.
I mean, I don't know. Lizards, do they work the same way that
but they're also super weird because they have to have like temperature, like
control.
Yeah.
But like, you got to think about
they have to have water. But they're in the wild, in the desert, like in the temperatures they're supposed to be in.
Like, what about the little lizards that run around here in the neighborhood? Like, have you ever seen lizards in Covington?
No.
No? See, like, I've
seen a lot of things in Covington.
Yeah, what you do?
I stepped outside with my dad yesterday. We went out through the basement, and we looked over, and it looked like there was a homeless guy peeing behind. Yeah.
Oh.
Like right where we were, but like on the other side, because like at the neighbors, like behind their trash cans under their basement.
Do you get a lot of homeless people around where you're at?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a soup kitchen that's right around the corner.
Ah, that makes sense.
So there's
poor people.
A lot there. Sometimes I'll find people like laying on our stairs, like our steps. I'm like, you gotta move, buddy.
I gotta get down.
I gotta get in here. Sorry.
So sorry. But I never had a lizard. I did have a crab.
No.
I had a little crab. Oh, he was so cute.
No.
But he died while molting.
Ew.
Like, they're supposed to, they'll molt for like a little period of time, but after a certain period of time, like, it was forever. Like, they usually molt and then they move into the shell. But it was a good, like, it was longer than it was supposed to, because I looked it up and it was like, yeah, when they could die in molting, and he died.
That's sad.
Poor guy. And I got a whole new shell and everything. I was like, oh. His name was Scooby. There was one point I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo. Like, his name was Scooby. And I never got another one after that. I always wanted to do sea monkeys, but I could never get them to work. Just because we had some fish when I was younger, but my mom hated cleaning the tank.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't clean. We were young. We were pretty young. But my mom hated cleaning the tank because you had to like move the fish, and then you have to do the water change
and the temperature change.
Yeah, it's like a whole. You have to be careful
because if it gets like flat, like if it's like cooler temperature or warmer temperature, it'll die.
Die.
It'll like dive shock or something.
So we had this fish for a long time, but my mom said after all our fish died, like, we're not getting any more.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the one fish that lasted the longest was the bottom feeder fish.
Naturally.
The little bottom feeder fish, that was the fish that we had the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And then he eventually passed away. Like, it took him a while.
I had a beta fish once, did not last long. He actually ended up getting sucked into the air filter. Died instantly.
Oh, guy.
Yeah.
See,
I called him Blue because he was blue, but BLU.
You went different.
I was different.
I was different.
Do you got anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Pets are amazing.
Pets are amazing, and it really sucks that like pets have to go through all this. They don't deserve us.
You know, we sit there.
Wait, we don't deserve them.
Listen, like
is what I meant to say.
These animals were once wild and free.
Yeah, and then we domesticated them. Did you hear about what we did with pigeons? We literally so like back in the yeehaw days, we domesticated pigeons, and then technology came around and we were like, fuck these pigeons, we don't need them anymore
because they're carrier pigeons,
right? So but we also use them for other stuff too, and we literally like domesticated them, and so now that's why they're around all the major cities, because that's where the people are, and they're like, what do we do now, and so we domesticated them and then left them to fend for themselves.
And now they fend for themselves. Apparently, pigeons are very cute. They're very cute.
They're dove cousins.
And they're not as gross as people think they are. I mean,
pigeons get a bad rap,
but birds are pretty gross.
Birds are pretty, but they're not like I can't be around one.
I don't mind being around one. I love like playing with them and petting them. But, like, having them, they're so messy.
Oh, they're so much work.
So messy. And
one time I tried to convince my dad to get me a chinchilla because some girl in my class had one. And I thought it was the most cutest thing ever. But chinchillas stink because you can't get them wet. You have to give them dry baths.
Huh.
And, they're like, what are they called? Gremlins. They're like gremlins where you can't get them wet. Yeah, and you can't feed them after midnight. But no, my dad was like, absolutely not. You were not getting a chinchilla. And I was like, please. I begged for so long. And he never did, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
Considering how much work they are.
Yeah, they're a lot of work.
I think they go for like $300.
They're expensive.
They are.
I'm like, no, thank you.
For a chinchilla. I really just like the name.
I like obviously animals that we can interact with.
Me too. I like cuddling, and I like giving love and affection.
Like, hamsters are adorable, but like they're not for me.
Right.
Like, they're just not, like, they're not as fun as people think they are.
Right.
Like, I don't like. I will say that if you're going to go down the rat, because like ferrets, you can train them a lot like cats. Like,
ferrets are adorable.
Like, so like
I would love a ferret.
Would go if you're getting eroded. I would go for a ferret. They're so cute. They really
they
are.
But don't they need to be in pairs?
I think that I think they survive better in pairs than they do separately. Like, you get them a little buddy, and they love to like hide things. Like, they'll burrow and like steal things. They're known as like little robbers. So they'll like take things and hide it. Our ferret did try to take. We had a Christmas ornament that was an elf that like shook.
Yeah,
and he tried to hide it. Like, he tried to get it underneath our couch. Couldn't fit because the couch obviously wasn't big enough for it. But you would see him try to pull it under the couch, and it just wasn't
little kleptomaniac.
Yeah. So it was. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Like, it was something. But like, we took these animals and we brought them in and we domesticated them and said, you have to rely on us now.
Yeah, literally.
But there's like hordes of like cities of dogs that like legitimately know when to get on and off trains. Like, they don't know. I don't know if they know time.
Yeah.
But they like know time.
Yeah.
Because they like time it perfectly for what train and where to go. Like, that's insane to me.
Dogs are so smart.
Like, I think animals are a lot smarter than we give them credit for.
I agree.
Because like cats,
I hate. One of the biggest pet peeves that Georgia specifically does is she goes, stupid dog. And I go, that dog is not stupid. That dog is smart. It's a smart boy.
That's her brother and sister's fault. They call them stupid dogs.
They're not.
Like Waffles is now known as Slobber Dog.
Well, when I was a kid, I always gave way more credit for things that weren't even alive, especially like animals.
Yeah.
So like inanimate objects, I gave personalities and backstories too, and like they were alive and you couldn't treat them with disrespect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like with animals, especially, like they're too sweet. You can't tell me.
Yeah.
Especially because they have their own personality.
They do.
Dogs have their own personality and they love and they're so loyal. And how dare you say that they're just a dumb dog that doesn't know anything? That's the end of my TED Talk.
And she gets that from her brother and sister. I do yell at them a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're not stupid.
They're not. Like
leave them alone. Like, they're just, like, they're out living their best life as much as they can. Like,
yeah, but, like, and then, like, dogs, they feel. They have emotions.
Do. Waffles judges a lot. Like, he judges. Like, he'll...
Side-eye.
He's side-eye. It's, like, really bad. It's so funny. He'll sit up all pretty, and he'll be sitting there, and he'll just side-eye you. And then he'll come over if he wants love. He'll come over.
Yeah.
He sets his head on you. And then he squashes you because he's like, he thinks he's a lot smaller than he is.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand his big size. He's a lug. Like, he's so funny.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead. I also think Teddy is a lug.
Yeah.
Just a big sweetheart.
He's just a big sweetheart.
I think him and Hagrid are going to be best friends because they're really close.
Yeah.
Like, in breeds.
I do too. Like, I think Hagrid wants other dogs to play with. I think he, like...
We could always test it.
We can.
See how it goes.
We can't... When he's adopted. I don't want to take any chances when he's not.
Okay.
Also, we do have a new platform, so I want to kind of say that before we get off. It is called, and she'll do the other thing that we've been doing. So it's called Skylight Social. It is a new platform. It's kind of connected to Blue Sky. It's the Gen D podcast at social Skyline Social. So go follow us there. That is our new platform. Until next time. Bye. Reaper That Sought Me. Make sure you guys go and buy it.
Yeah, so the Reaper That Sought Me, I'll put up here. You guys have heard about it. I've been talking about it. I love it. We love to see it. Basically, it's available now on Amazon as an ebook or a paperback or hardcover. And thank you.
You're welcome.
And I also have another book on Amazon as well called Behind Classroom Doors. I'll put it up here. This one did very well on Wattpad. I don't know if any of you ever got on Wattpad. If you're in my generation, you probably have. But it did very well on Wattpad, so I think you'd probably like it too.
Go check it out.
Definitely go check it out. Of course, follow my TikTok to get like book updates and like for future books, and I also do edits on there as well during my current books. So you get like little clips and stuff, and like basically like all that information is going to be out there. There are links all over my TikTok. You can, or also even like Instagram threads up here, so you can find me anywhere. But it is Alyssa Love Dillon, the Reaper That Sought Me. So
yeah.
And
then where you can find us at, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, RSS.com. Those are the main platforms. You can also Google us, and they'll be able to find us on all these other different platforms. Also, you can find us on Fanbase, Clapper, TikTok, Substack, Blue Sky, and for now, Instagram. You can find us there at the Gen D Podcast. That's how you can find us, the Gen D Podcast. Until next time, bye.